What's happening, guys, and welcome to week 4 of the NPL Division 2, as today we're taking on the legendary Seabass, coach of the Santa Cruz Psyducks, who are 2-1, chasing our tails. Same division, or not same division, same conference. There we go. But if you want to check out his side of the battle, be sure to look in the description down below, click on the link, and I'll take you to his side of the action, the battle. But if you're joining me today, for my perspective, thank you so much for joining me today. I'd also really appreciate it if you click that thumbs up button right on the bottom right corner. That would mean so much to me, a lot. It's teasing you. It's just like, you know what, man? You want to click on it. You want to click on it so bad. But anywho, the team that he's bringing today, other than the 6 months, he could have potentially brought in a Mega Blastoise, a Sylveon, and a Haxorus. I was really surprised about the Xatu, not gonna lie. I was not expecting that thing to show up. So I was relatively surprised. It's pretty cool that he did bring it in. And of course he brought in Mew, Arcanine. I was figured it'd just be your standard defensive Arcanine. Registeel is totally well by Gliscor. And the Keldeo. I decided to take off low kick last minute on the Weavile because you figured, you know what, I have enough pressure for Registeel when Keldeo or Gliscor comes in that I should be fine. Totally cool with that. Magearna's in here to take on Jolteon in terms of like Assault Vest and whatnot, and I'm pretty sure Magearna can take on Xatu too, because Xatu does absolutely nothing to it. I don't imagine it having any other than like Heat Wave, but it's still like, it's a pretty bad attacking mon, so I figured, you know what, I like my chances with Magearna versus Xatu. And then Shaman is going to be a pain in my butt because other than, you know, your standard, you know, Calm Mind, Calm Mind Latios over here, or even Magearna, or even Weavile, I don't really have anything that hits it that hard. And Gliscor and Porygon 2, if it comes in, then I'm sort of like a sitting duck, no pun intended with Porygon 2. Mew, I don't know what it is, so that's something to keep in mind. And yeah, so that's sort of the mons that I brought in today. I brought in Swords Dance Gliscor because I figured I could take advantage of Registeel. P2 just for a defensive mon, it's really nice to have. And I just like playing with P2, the duck in the pond, looking so nice. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. So I figured, you know what, let's just get up our Toxic Orb right away. Usually, most people lead with Registeel or Jolteon. I figured those two mons were the prime candidates, or even Xatu, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to lead off with Gliscor, as he ends up leading with Shaman. So I just scouted to see what it really wants to do. And he ends up being on Leech Seed set, so I'm like, oh boy, these shenanigans again, 2 weeks in a row. I do not appreciate it, not at all. So I'm just going to switch into my Doc Dodgers in case he goes for Seed Flare, as he does. And that does a lot of damage. That's just no... at the same time, we're pretty defensive, so I'm just going for the Ice Beam. We do some clean damage, 39%. That is analytic Doc Dodgers over there. I figured, you know what, I'm going to be going last a lot. I'm just going to recover up right over here. And I sort of do make a prediction over here. I figured, you know what, he wants to go for a status. He could have gone for Stealth Rocks too, but he ends up revealing Toxic, so I'm like, alright, that's good to note. That's really good to know, because, yeah, it's just good to know. As he sent up McFly over here, and I'm like, oh boy, what sort of shenanigans does this thing want to do? He ends up going for an Air Slash, gets a crit over there, sort of just gone into Magearna, but, you know, he gets rewarded there for his shenanigans. But he also has Toxic on McFly, and I'm like, oh boy, this sort of game, I didn't bring in Roserade because I figured, you know what, it didn't make sense. Sort of regretting it right now, especially when it has aromatherapy. So I'm just gonna go for a Dragon Pulse, go for Recover at this point, just to keep my LightCap PT9 healthy. The good thing about these Pokemon getting dual or getting status and getting constantly hit is that I can click Recover or Roost or something like that. Weavile, Keldeo, and Magearna don't allow me to do that. So now I know that whenever I send out Keldeo, I can go for a Sacred Sword, put on a lot of damage, or put on a Hydro Pump. So I'm going for the pumpers over here. Boom! That is a Choice Specs Keldeo. When I did damage with Latios, I figured, you know what, this thing is fully spadeffed and HP'd, and Hydro Pump has a guaranteed KO. So he ends up landing another Seed Flare. LightCap Patina doesn't mind that at all. We can eat that up all day. I'm relatively defensive, and I can just go for Recover at this point. So every time Registeel comes in, Gliscor comes in, and it was sort of going into this odd pattern where I don't really act upon it, because I know Shaman's going to come in, but I end up just going for the Earthquake over here because I was like, you know what, Registeel is a big problem, and sort of a misplay on that key over there. I would have really enjoyed U-turn or something like that just to hit Stanek a bit harder and put a lot more pressure on it. But what can you do? What can you do? As you know, I decide to go for a late seed at this point, send out Doc Dodgers. Doc Dodgers can easily eat up this seed flare or late seed or whatever is coming its way. And every time this thing seems to come in, it always switches out. It always sets up seeds, and for some reason I'm just like, he's got to stay in at some point. And no, he just goes right into Roy. Roy easily eats up that Ice Beam, plus he gets its late seeds, and I'm like, I'm not staying in. I am definitely not staying in. So he ends up going for Flare Blitz. Little does he know that I'm defensive, so I could have potentially done a lot of damage. I wasn't going to stay in because of the potential close combat and whatnot, but you know, it is what it is, and you can't really do much. So at this point, I'm just going for Roost, back into Doc Dodge just to eat the Seed Flare. I don't know why I keep on going into this thing. Like I said, misplaying this Shaman really badly. Like a lot of my team's getting dwindled down. It doesn't look like it, but I'm not building any momentum, and I'm allowing his team to really heal up a lot of damage that I do to anything on his team. So thankfully I can go right into Pony over here. I know Shaman doesn't take a Sacred Sword as specs. Sacred Sword? Secret Sword? Sacred Sword? Secret Sword. So that is 53%. I'm like, oh, damage, yo. So there's a potential way of KOing this thing. Luckily for him, and a good play on him, he decides to keep it. So I do 34% on this thing. Makes a solid prediction over here because there's no way I'm staying in on a Mew. And he ends up going for Fire Blast, which is big damage. That is some huge damage. So he lands 2 Fire Blasts. He doesn't care about the potential of missing it because, you know, who cares? You can land 2 Fire Blasts, you should do it. You should do it. So at this point, I know that I've got this Mew trap in here, so I'm just going to knock it out. Like I said before, having Mew gone is really good. He ends up sending out Roy. Once again, I have a good switch in, P2 or Gliscor. Even like Capitina over here, good. It's a good switch because I can just recover up, but he does get the crit. That does 39% plus the toxic damage. It puts me in range of extreme speed. I think this was a bit of a misplay on my part. I do have the Gliscor, and I should have just gone into that, avoid that whole situation. So, you know, you can argue the crit mattered, but misplayed on my part. So at this point I can just go for a Surf, take out Roy. Arcanine doesn't really have much of a role. And of course I'm going to keep Keldeo around. And I just go right into Doc Dodges over here, go for the whatever. Go for the whatever. It lands another Seed Flare. This man is landing all his inaccurate moves. He ends up taking out the Doc Dodgers. And this is where it really bites me in the butt, where I don't have Low Kick, because even Low Kick or Brick Break would have been awesome at this point, because at this moment, I go for the knockoff, predicting Stark to come in. I'm not going for Icicle Crash. That does 46%. That puts it in range of either Low Kick or Brick Break. And I'm like, oh, that's killing me because I have to switch out. There's no way I'm staying in. I could have just tried to gone for the flinch, I guess. The flinch. But, you know, that's a bit of a stretch over there. So I make an aggressive switch over here. I go right into Pony. And I know if I put him at this optimal position, we do 48%. Not as much as Sacred Sword, surprisingly. I figured I would do a bit more, so that was a bit weird, but now I can just simply switch into my Tinder, go for... I only have 1 attack left in me, so I have to go for an Icicle Crash. And he goes right into Stark, so like I said before, not having Low Kick really bit me in the butt, but I do get a crit over here, which is big. The crit, I don't know if it mattered, because now at this point my game plan is I'm setting up Sword Stance, and I'm saying a lot, but I can still win this, potentially, if his Jolteon doesn't have HP Ice, which I'm pretty sure it does. All I can do is change the differential, but I sort of make a blunder of a play over here. I choke a bit, I guess, if you can count that as a choke. I should have just gone for Earthquake, get the roll on the Earthquake. There was I think I needed a high roll or a mid roll for the Earthquake to KO. As you can tell, 27%. He was at 28 when he entered the battlefield. And he ends up going for a late seed, which is relatively interesting. I figured he'd just try to finish me off with Dazzling Gleam or something. The Gleam. So unfortunately, we'll lose to 3-0 loss in week 4, which is rather unfortunate, but you know, looking back into it and even like looking before at it, I knew I was struggling with Shaman and Reggie Steel. A lot of those mons were just, I didn't have a good answer to it, and yeah, I just played bad. Like, I really played bad, so no excuses on my end. You know, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, well, you got hacked a lot or you got crit a lot. Nah, man, I just played bad. I misplayed really harshly, and he just played a lot better than me. So, GG to the legendary Seabass. I'm looking forward to our second. Hopefully, we get another match in the season. I do want my revenge. There we go. It's still the morning, and my mouth is just starting to communicate with my brain. So. Next week, we are going to be going against Umbria Knight, the Lycanroc something, the West London Lycanrocs or something like that. But just a little update, I'm not sure if he's going to be battling. He hasn't done any of his, I think he's done like one battle, and after that he hasn't really communicated, or he's just sort of disappeared off the face of the earth. So I'm not expecting a battle. So we might just get the 3-0 forfeit over there, which is rather, you know, I don't like taking forfeits like that. It's sucky in every way, because, you know, I just want to play Pokemon, and I don't enjoy the forfeit. So I think, without further ado, I don't want to assume that, you know, he's gonna forfeit, but, you know, the pattern and whatnot. The pattern, you gotta take a look at the pattern. The kids, you gotta be careful of the kids, people. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Unfortunately, we'll go 3-1 right now. We're still on top of the conference, or the division. Conference and division, I think, due to differential, because after our 2 6-0s, that sort of puts you in a position like that. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out everyone else's content in around the league. And I'm gonna get going. So this is Cap. Gonna catch you later. There we go. That's so bad.